go.
푸른 공기에 나는 행복한다. 이젠 내 안에 물결을 만들고 보이지 않게 보이는 이 떨림만이 속세의 먼지를 털어주네. 그 안에 들고 잠겨 아침을 맞이하네. flo는 내 입가에 미소를 만들고 혼란스러운 세상사 모두 잊게 하네. 혼란스러운 세상사 모두 잊게 하네. 그들은 이야기하고 늙어가니 나는 도도해지련다. 지금은 웃기를 좋아하고 나에게 속삭이다. 푸른 공기에 나는 행복한다. 이젠 내 안에 물결을 만들고 보이지 않게 보이는 이 떨림만이 속세의 먼지를 털어주네. 그 안에 들고 잠겨 아침을 맞이하네. flo는 내 입가에 미소를 만들고 잊게 하네. 잊게 하네.
Happy Thursday afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Conversation Club live on Slim Radio. I hope everyone is having a great week so far. It is sunny outside in Amsterdam, and my mood is as sunny as the weather we have going on outside. Namely, I've been enjoying 2 weeks of being fully fit, no flu, no problems whatsoever, and I've also had the most perfect weekend that I'm going to be talking about. But before we dive into today's topics, which are how to have a perfect weekend, dump your matcha and have a cigarette, bitch, and how to unlock yourself when you are feeling a little bit stuck, how to unstuck yourself, so to say. Now, yesterday we had our elections in Amsterdam, and I hope everyone went out and used their voice and voted. I sure did, and I felt very proud, and it feels very festive to be able to use your own stem, your voice, to vote. It is not everyone who can do that. So I think we definitely have to feel grateful for the democracy we live in. So far, looks like the results were pretty good. So I'm happy with, yeah, how the elections turned out to be. I wanted to talk a little bit about me, my life in Amsterdam, how I arrived here, and feeling Dutch because there's a big thing that happened to me today. I'm sitting here with the latest Elle magazine, and I am being interviewed in Dutch Elle. So, hi, mom, I'm in Elle. So not only have I lived here now for 10 years, I bought my apartment, I get to vote, I am in Dutch L, and I'm broadcasting on a Dutch radio show. I'm feeling very Dutch. I'm from Finland originally, and I thought it would be maybe interesting for you to know a little bit about how I came to move to Amsterdam. Now, I had never even thought about the Netherlands up until I was 20 years old when I had to choose where I would go for my exchange. So I was studying in Helsinki at the time. I was studying business, and it was a compulsory part of our program to do some sort of exchange program somewhere. And at the time, I was kind of content with my life in Finland, how it was, and I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna pick a country that feels very similar. I was supposed to be here for 5 months and then go back to Finland, but as you can see, I'm still here. But anyway, I decided between Copenhagen and Amsterdam. Copenhagen is a city I had visited a lot of times back in the day, and also a place that I really vibed with. However, there was a friend of mine, Michaela, and she said that, you know what, I think you would actually really love Amsterdam as well. So I decided to apply for Amsterdam, and I got in. And it was the 31st of January 2016. So precisely a bit more than 10 years ago. I flew over to Amsterdam and I landed on Schiphol Airport. I was traveling with a friend of mine, Vivian Janhonen. Shout out to her if you're listening. And we took the metro and we stepped out on the Wiboudstraat because we were staying at the student hotel, which is now known as the social hub. And I went to walk down the Amstel. It was January, so you can imagine it was not a beautiful day. However, I just felt this feeling in me that, wow, maybe this is the best place in the world. I don't think I'm ever leaving. And I never left. So that is kind of the story of how I ended up in Amsterdam. I mean, I went back to finish my bachelor for some months, but then I actually also applied to do my master here. I just wanted to move back here as soon as possible. I applied to do a digital marketing master's at the University of Amsterdam and I got in. It started in February. And funny thing was, I was kind of obsessed with the Netherlands and I was obsessed with Amsterdam. I was just thinking that being Dutch and being, an Amsterdam person was the coolest thing ever. And I remember I was reading all the, fashion blogs from Amsterdam girls. I was studying Dutch at the University of Helsinki. I was only dating Dutch men in Finland at the time. I know, very random, but I know I was dating two Dutch men that were living in Finland at the time, and I was simply so mesmerized by the Dutch culture, and I really wanted to integrate. So, I mean, I studied the language, and I wanted to learn about the culture and the history, and I wanted to become Dutch. I mean, now I am very proud to be Finnish. I'm very proud to be a Swedish-speaking Finn, but I'm also feeling very strong ties to Amsterdam. I would say I'm Finnish, but I also am an Amsterdamse meid, if you know what I mean. And just to see in the article someone describing me as the Amsterdamse Hanna Rinne, yeah, I don't know. Feels good. Feels good, feels good, feels good. So, if there's anyone listening who's thinking that, I don't know, was this it for my life? You never know, because in 10 years you might be the citizen of a totally new city and you might be, interviewed for, I don't know, Vogue in France, saying that, hey, the Parisian girl, fill in your name. So, yeah, that was just a little story about how I came to be Dutch, how I became to be an Amsterdamse Hanna Rinne. So yeah, I've been feeling very uplifted lately, quite inspired, and I think the weather helps definitely a lot. I mean, you can smell the spring. Spring has sprung. Everyone is out and about on a terrace. Everyone is looking up from their phones. Everyone is having a good time. Everyone is kind of heading towards European summer, which is literally the best thing ever. So yeah, vibes are good, and I'm feeling proud of my 10 years in Amsterdam, feeling proud of, my integration, and just happy overall to be able to use my voice and vote for the municipality of Amsterdam. Now, on that note, we're gonna go into our next track. The first track I played was "It Makes You Forget" by Peggy Gou. Super groovy jam, if you ask me. I think Peggy Gou, say what you want about her, but she's a cool ass girl. She looks so fly, and I mean, get the bag, girl. That's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, the next track is called "Walking on a Dream" by Empire of the Sun.
Walking on a dream. How can I explain? Talking to myself. Will I see again? We are always running for the thrill of it, thrill of it. Always pushing up the hill, searching for the thrill of it. All along, we are calling out and out again. Never looking down, I'm just in awe of what's in front of me. Is it right now to be born? Come on, I can feel love to be born. Come on. Thought I'll never see the love you found in me. Now it's changing all the time. Living in a rhythm where the minutes working overtime. We are always running for the thrill of it, thrill of it. Always pushing up the hill, searching for the thrill of it. All along, we are calling out and out again. Never looking down, I'm just in awe of what's in front of me. Is it right now to be born? Come on, I can feel love to be born. Come on. Is it right now to be born? Come on, I can feel love to be born. Come on. Get free, I'm falling now. Get free, I'm falling now. Don't stop, just keep going on. I'm your shoulder lean upon. So come on, deliver from inside. All we got is tonight. That is right to first light. Is it right now to be born? Come on, I can feel love to be born. Come on, is it right now?
That was Walking on Dream by Empire of the Sun, and I hope everybody is walking on their own little dream as we are entering lighter, brighter days and the spring summer season. Now, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the perfect weekend, because last weekend was for me absolutely perfect. So if you're looking for a blueprint on how to live the perfect weekend, you can just copy and paste what I did. And I thought we would go through it day by day. It is Thursday after all. 1 2 1 2. All right. So perhaps we're fixing some technical issues here. Meanwhile, so two girls and big tech, and we are we're killing it. Now, anyway, I'm gonna continue my story because I hope this can serve as a little inspiration for how you want to be living out your weekend. Now, if you think that the weekend starts on Saturday, you're wrong. The weekend starts on Thursday afternoon. And since it is Thursday afternoon, if you are sitting in the office, if you are soon heading out, gun yourself a drink. go for a terrace. The sun is shining, life is too short, we need to have fun. So, grab a friend, call your friend, call your sister, call whoever is in town, and make sure that you do something fun after today's work as well. Because the weekend, in my opinion, starts on Thursday nights. I remember when I was young, when I was living back home in Finland, I had a lot of hobbies as well going on. So I would have after school hobbies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty much all the way up until Thursday and sometimes Friday even. But Thursday night was always after my cello lesson, so that felt always like a big win. So after Thursday night, we always had some nice food and was feeling like the weekend is beginning, because Friday you already wake up with such a fun vibe on a Friday, so why not celebrate Thursday night already? I also have been having this debate about which day is the best first date day. And I feel like a lot of people are agreeing with me that Thursday is the perfect day for first date. And I think people are, again, more and more keen to go on dates when the weather gets better. So if you're single, if you want to ask somebody out on a date, or if you're thinking about when you should do it, I say do it on a Thursday, and I will argue why. I mean, okay, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they are just kind of work nights. So the vibe is a little bit more stiff. Maybe people don't want to drink. By the way, is the sound good now? We have the same problem. Well, anyway, I hope you can hear me because I'm spitting facts over here. But anyway, Thursday for date night number 1. This is mainly if you're going on a first date, because if you have Thursday as a successful date, Thursday people are still a little bit in the weekend vibe, they are having a fun time. You can still have a moment to see them. I think this is even worse, by the way. We're trying to figure it out. Managing the story and managing the sound at the same time. It is. Let's see. I think this is good. This is good. This is the best. There's a little, but we can't do anything about it. So suck it up if you want to hear my stories. Anyway, Thursday date night, because if it's a successful first date, okay, if you're feeling really cheeky, it's okay to sleep over at someone's place on a Thursday night and show up to the office on Friday or work from home on a Friday. But mainly, if it's really fun, you can still kind of connect over the weekend. So let's say Thursday night is a good date night, then you can say, or you're out with your friends on Saturday or Sunday, you can kind of bump into each other again, and you can have that second date close up to Thursday. So anyway, that is why I am voting Thursdays for first dates. But back to my perfect weekend. So I did exactly that last Thursday. Not a date, but I went on an after-work drink with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while. We went to a bar in the Pipe. And I'm actually on a little side quest. I'm on a side quest to figure out which martini is the best martini in Amsterdam. So I'm trying one new martini per week, seeing which martini I like the most. And I tried the one at the Bar Bellini, and it was actually really a good one. So we had a few drinks, we had some snacks, and then I went home. You have a little buzz going on, and you're just like, oh my god, it's not even the weekend yet, but I already had a fun night. So that's a win. Friday morning, I started with a hot yoga. So you want to have a little workout going on as well in the weekend, right? I went to do a hot yoga. And after that, I went to work, and I had planned some fun work meetings on the Friday. So Friday is a perfect day for a long lunch with a client, or, an after-work drink. I also did an after-work drink with a potential, partner for a collaboration. So we met up for a little drink at 4, and that felt really nice because, again, if you work with clients, if you work in business, sometimes it's a bit stiff to meet, for coffee, which is totally fine. But sometimes if you're talking about some events or fun collaborations, why not go out for a glass of wine, or, just in a nice surrounding? So Fridays are perfect for those kind of meetings, in my opinion. Now, after that meeting, I headed straight to I know, very Havermelk elite of me, but I went to a natural wine shop and I got some nice bottles of wine. Maybe I'm now at the age where I'm starting to feel like I'm not drinking any supermarket wine anymore. I have developed taste with a big capital T. But anyway, I went to a super nice wine shop around the area where I live. I got some new wine and I headed to my friend's house. It was a bit of an extempore decision. I was debating, am I staying in or am I going? But since it is the perfect weekend, as you can imagine, I headed out. So I went to two of my very good friends' place to have drinks and again a little bottle. And my friend Angie, she cooked pasta. And we were just hanging, we were playing some tunes, they have a nice DJ deck, and I'm definitely an amateur, but you know, I'm having fun with it. So we played some tunes, we had some wine, we had some food, and it was just a perfect, cozy Friday night at home. You could also, you know, play some board games or maybe watch a movie or something like that, but Fridays are for family time, friend time, coziness. And afterwards, I went home around before midnight. So you're home at a decent time. You had a nice Friday night. You feel accomplished from work. You did a workout, and you go to sleep with a smile on your face. In between, before we go over to my Saturday, I thought we're gonna get in the mood with a song called "The Weekend." Here we go.
I'm working all week long. I dream the days away. I wanna sing my song. So let the music play. I have to get my kids and fly tonight. And when the clock strikes 6 on Friday night, I need to blow it all away. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I'm making what I can. I try. I'm shaking up my plan, and I get by. I'm saving all my soul and all my pain, so I can lose control on Saturday. I'm gonna blow it all away. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. For the weekend to begin. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I got to get my fix and fly tonight. And when the clock strikes 6 on Friday night, I'm gonna blow it all away. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I can't wait for the weekend to begin. I can't wait for the weekend to begin.
So I hope that song got you a little bit in the mood for the weekend. And we're gonna continue the story about my perfect weekend. And we left off going to sleep with a smile on our face on Friday night, and now we're heading into Saturday. So picture this, you're waking up on Saturday morning without an alarm. It is, let's say, between 9 and 11, depending how much sleep you needed, but you know, you let yourself rest. Sun is perhaps shining or not, but it's still like good enough weather, so to say. and you have a slow morning. And slow morning, whatever that means for you, it could be that you read a book, you read a magazine, maybe you want to read Elle magazine, in which I am interviewed right now, or maybe you want to, do some stretching, do a yoga, or whatever floats your boat. What I did was I booked a hot yin yoga, and yin yoga is kind of several minutes in the same posture, so it's very slow, like you don't break a sweat. It is just super super relaxing, and it works on the fascia, not like the muscle but the fascia. And I always love it, and it's such a nice, warm, cozy opening. So it's like you're doing something very nice for yourself, but it's not a high intensity workout. But if you want to do a high intensity workout and that's your jam on a Saturday morning, you go for it. But do something nice for yourself on a Saturday morning. Now, after that, I went to a little, farmer's market situation. I went into small little shops. I got some things for my house. I did a little spring cleaning, and I got some nice kind of food to my home. There's a really nice Chinese food truck or Chinese little kiosk selling like Peking duck crepes and dumplings and stuff like that. So I gave myself a little treats, and I went home. And I had a snack. I cleaned my house, so everything is fresh and clean in your apartment. After that, I suggest you do a little activity. Now that could be either going to a museum or going to do some shopping, or go to a bookshop. I booked a spa for myself. So I was really in the mood for something nice and cozy, so I booked a spa to my favorite spa in Amsterdam, and I went there for 4 hours with my books, with my notebooks, and I did infrared sauna, I did regular sauna, and I had a nap, I read my book. And the nice thing about that place is that you can't have your phones out there, so you're just with yourself or with a friend, in your own thoughts, just simply resting, relaxing, and you're gonna come out feeling super refreshed after the sauna. Now, not to keep the weekend too slow paced, after this, it is time to shake things up a little bit, a little toot toot, a little beep beep, if you will. And it is time to go out dancing, because I think, we can't lose the art of partying. I know that Gen Z and the younger generation, they are not as active as us millennials used to be, and we'll get into that in a bit, but I feel like we need to keep, partying going. Partying is essentially a way of, celebrating life, connecting with others, going to the dance floor. And I'm not saying you have to be completely wasted or something like that, but please go out for a little dance in the weekend if you can, because you have legs that are working. You live in a beautiful city, if you're in Amsterdam at least. Shout out to all the people listening from outside of Amsterdam. I'm sure there are places to go dancing as well there. But yeah, just let loose and enjoy yourself a little bit. So what I did was, we had a friend of ours that was playing at Dilatek, and we went out dancing to Dilatek. First meeting up with some friends, of course, having some drinks, and then we went out clubbing. And if you've packaged this weekend in the way that you did your workout, you had your sleep, you've eaten well, then you're setting yourself up for a successful night out. You will have energy, and you will not be hangover if you just take care of yourself. Because, okay, I'm at that age where I am definitely feeling that I'm not 21 anymore. So if you drink enough water, you maybe take some electrolytes, and you go home at a decent time. And you can yourself decide what decent means for you. For me, it means perhaps before the sun comes up, I know it's nice to be there, and I know you don't want to go home, but think about that you still have Sunday if you want to have the perfect weekend, all right? Every now and then again, I get it. You go to the afters, you have a long night, and you just crash in bed the whole Sunday, but that's not the perfect weekend we're talking about. So you go home at a decent time. All right? Again, with a smile on your face, and then you will wake up on Sunday. And you might have just like the slightest headache. That's okay. That's okay. Hopefully the sun is shining. Again, no alarm. You're waking up, and this is crucial. You need to get out of the house, okay? Get out of the house. So on the Sunday, it is very crucial to get out of the house and plan something with a friend. So something that you are committing yourself to doing, all right? Even if it feels a little bit uncomfortable at the very moment, you commit to meeting up with a friend. So that's what I did. And don't be too ambitious. Okay, it's a Sunday. So don't say, okay, we're gonna meet 11 o'clock for lunch. That's never gonna happen. So I said late afternoon, 2:30, 3. Perfect. So you take a shower, maybe you do a little face mask, maybe a little gua sha, and then you head out walking. I like to walk if I'm a little bit hangover. Maybe with a coffee in your hand and meet up with your friend. Have a nice little coffee, a lunch, maybe a little cheeky drink if you're feeling freaky. And after that, you can, with a good consciousness, start to head back home. And what I did was I got some takeaway food. I wanted something fresh, so I took something from a Vietnamese shop. And I went home when it was still sunny and light outside. But I had taken like 10K steps a day, and I had seen a friend. I had some fresh air. I got out of the house, and when I came back, I had a clean house, because you know what we did on Saturday? We cleaned the house. So you woke up into a fresh house. That's also another tip from me. So have a clean house if you go out, because you don't want to wake up in a house that needs cleaning. Like, you can't be messy in here and outside of there. All right. So Sunday afternoon is spent in bed watching a comfort movie or listening to a podcast, or I don't know, dilly-dallying, doing whatever you want to do on your free Sunday. And then you can still go early to bed, and that means you'll wake up feeling good on a Monday morning, but you've had a fulfilling and fun weekend. So this was my perfect weekend, and that was my recipe for success. So you do a little bit of everything. You have some friends, you have some alone time, you move your body, you clean your house, you fill up your pantry, you go out dancing, and that's just the perfect weekend in my opinion. Obviously, I'm now living in Amsterdam, I don't have kids or whatever, so if you have family time, that might look a little bit different, but just try to, have as many different fun things planned in for your weekend as possible. And take it from me, I know how it goes. You can either go too hard in one way or the other. You can either, go too hard with the partying, but I feel like those weekends, sure, every now and then, but you don't really feel as fulfilled if everything you did was have one big night and then totally in bed. Same goes for if you're too controlling and you're too kind of worried or focused on your wellness. That's also not good. Like, we're meant to be living our life. So copy paste if you feel like it. It's Thursday night. You know what I said. The weekend starts on Thursday. So plan out your weekend, go out for a drink tonight, and let's look at our next track. It is called A Night to Remember, because you know what? You're young, so you better have those nights that you can remember while you still can.
When you love someone, it's natural, not demanding. And that's one thing I'm proud to say I found in you. I'm so glad we reached an understanding.
about that if you were listening. I accidentally dropped my water bottle, and that can happen. But we are back, and the AUX cable is in again. Now, a little bit in the same theme as celebrating having the perfect weekend, my next topic actually. I read a Substack and I had to laugh at the title. The title said, "Dump your matcha and have a cigarette, bitch." I'm gonna repeat it because it was kind of fun. Dump your matcha and have a cigarette, bitch. Now, I think to each their own, and I'm not shaming matcha per se, but she was essentially talking about how we necessarily don't need more self-discipline and wellness, so-called wellness, to feel better, but actually we maybe need to relax and have some fun. So the full theme of today's show is all about, living your life to the fullest and not go too much into one extreme or the other, and think a little bit more about, what actually it means to live a good life, because there's a lot of talking now about wellness, longevity, and optimizing your life. And I think we all got kind of excited about that for a while. You were excited to optimize your life and ask ChatGPT to fill out your perfect food schedule so you can have your perfect body. And then if you want to have a little tweakment, you can also get a little Botox on your lunch break. And did you know that also, I don't know, you can put salmon sperm in your face and you can get younger by 10 years, and I don't know, sleep with your Oura ring and track everything and, protect your peace and yada, 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 yada. And I think we kind of lost the plot there. And that's also what the author of the Substack is arguing. She's saying that we actually, need to have a little bit more fun, and we don't have to take the life so seriously. And they are talking about, the kind of blue zones. And the blue zones, if you don't know, please don't quote me if I'm saying something wrong, because it is kind of a research, but essentially it is the zones where people live the longest. So up until 100 years and way past that. It is, for example, Sardinia in Italy, Icaria in Greece, an area in Costa Rica, and an area in Japan. So essentially, Mediterranean climates and, that good life. And I think researchers found it very fascinating that these people live very long, and they are not out there optimizing their health. You don't see the nonnas of Italy kind of calculating calories and sleeping with the Oura rings. In fact, they are not drinking matcha, they are smoking cigarettes. And I'm not an advocate for cigarettes because I don't smoke myself and I know it's not so healthy. But I feel like there's even research backing up how loneliness, this actually I read about, loneliness equals, if you're feeling lonely, it can be the same as smoking 15 cigarettes per day. So, loneliness, chronic stress, malnourishment, overeating, undereating, screen time, sitting, all of these things are actually way, way, way worse than, having a glass of wine or smoking a cigarette. And I think that's kind of the whole vibe that I'm trying to bring to all of you with today's show, and inviting myself and all of you to live that kind of life as we're entering terrace season. So all these people living in the blue zones, what they have in common is that they live long, and they attribute that to a lot of, fresh produce, a lot of fish, a lot of vegetables, kind of a fresh Mediterranean pescatarian cuisine. And they also have a very good sense of community. So of course you see all the generations living together, having this community, having a good time, and having a good time indeed. Let's pause there. Having a good time every single day. So they are enjoying themselves on a terrace, sitting on the stairs, and they are maybe drinking a glass of wine every day, and they are maybe smoking a cigarette every day, and maybe they are drinking a cappuccino, but in moderation. And I think the most crucial thing is that sense of community. So they're not feeling lonely, they are all together, they are having a good time, they have everything in moderation, and they are just happy and grateful. I mean, I assume it looks like that at least. So I feel like that is very contradictory to what the Western media and the Western people are trying to do now with their lives. Again, to each their own, but if there's, now I'm going to take an example. Let's call her Jules. Jules goes to, you know, Pilates every day, even if she's tired. She's getting up at 6 a.m. and she's wearing all these fashionable new clothes that she spends a lot of money on to acquire, and she has her little matcha, and she has to make a picture of it to post on Instagram, and she wants to look very beautiful. She is already very beautiful, but she feels the pressure, so she's doing all kinds of supplements and facial creams, and she's even doing some tweakments, and you know, she's thinking about maybe doing a facelift in 5 years, and she's doing Botox and fillers, and actually she's not that happy, but you know, she's a wellness girly. Now I feel like that is kind of far from the wellness what it actually is. Also, I know a lot of people are speaking about how, you know, nowadays when you go to sports classes, they used to be communal. They used to be, you know, places to go and you meet people and you say hi and how are you doing, and now it's literally you check in on your QR code, you don't speak to anyone in the changing rooms, and I get it. Sometimes you want to be in your own zone, that's fine. But you don't even say hi to the people around you. Isn't that a little crazy? Same thing as you're, you know, standing in the rij for the bakkerij, you know, for your zuurdesembrood. I'm feeling a little bit Dutch today because I'm actually also, I'm going to show you here as well. I'm actually reading the essay for this year's book week by Doortje Smithuis. Ik zou uw dochter kunnen zijn. It's a really good essay. She's talking about the kind of friction between baby boomers and millennials and how we live our lives in different ways. Anyway, this is a recommendation if you're looking for a fun essay to read. It's a little bit the same vibe as the Havermelk Elite book by Jonas Koyman that I've also read and can recommend. As you hear, I'm very Dutch. But anyway, back to the queue, to the Zuurdesem bakkerij. You know, you're standing there in the queue and you're looking down at your phone. This is a good opportunity for you to maybe have a chat with the people around you, but no, everyone is just standing neck down 90 degrees, speaking to no one and just being on their phone, and that's kind of sad. So community, wellness in the full sense, and you know, I think a lot of us need to relax a little bit more. And I'm speaking from experience, and I'm speaking from myself as well. And I'm going to tell you a little story about my shift from going from this wellness girly, to being a Mediterranean lady, let's say. No, but the difference between, you know, a moment in Finland when I was actually very obsessed is the right word, I believe. I was very obsessed with staying very healthy, and actually how that wasn't that healthy, and versus now when I'm living in Amsterdam and just living it up here, and how much more healthy I actually feel. But before we go into that topic, we're gonna play another tune. This one is called Illegal by Pink Panthers, because hey, I was gonna say every now and then we need to do something illegal. I'm not standing behind that quote, but I'm just saying, like, is it so bad to, you know, smoke a cigarette? Is it that bad to have a glass of wine? Is it illegal? Well, if it is, then sue me.
My name is Pink and I'm really glad to meet you. You're recommended to me by some people. Hey, ooh, is this illegal? Hey, ooh, it feels illegal. I've solved it quite a few times with paranoia. Oh, I should name, I don't know what I should call you. Hey, ooh, here's 20 for you. Hey, we're getting high around the corner. Wow. One after one, now you're sitting on my bed. Then later on, we can talk on it instead.
Pantheress with Illegal, and she is having a moment, and I'm so here for it. And I love her meme when they're asking her about, I don't know, they're congratulating her on something, and she goes, "Da!" She is so cute, and congratulations! I believe she won some sort of award for, and the first, I think it was the Brit Awards, the first female producer of the year. So congratulations to Pink Pantheress. She is killing it, and I really love her unique sound and vibe. I feel like I'm on a yapathon today. I have a lot to say, but these are topics that are very close to my heart. We're gonna kind of wrap up the talk about, you know, skip your matcha and have a cigarette. Obviously, you can have both. But I think Gen Z and the people who are so focused on optimizing everything are missing out on a lot of life. Oh, that's right. I was going to talk about my own experience with this. So back in 2014, 15, 16 in Finland when I was living there, I was signed for a model agency, and obviously they are pretty strict, at least at that time, with measurements and how you need to look like. And it was a moment in time when I thought, okay, I'm just gonna be very healthy. I'm not gonna drink. I'm not gonna eat carbs, and I'm gonna work out a lot. And honestly, my life was boring. I can tell you that. And I was also a vegetarian. I think that's still definitely good for you if you are. But I just remember feeling very restricted, and I think everything that makes you feel restricted is essentially kind of unhealthy. I mean, you need to have some boundaries. Obviously, we can't totally flip out. But I think over optimizing your life and over restricting everything that you're eating is just not healthy. So yeah, moderation is key. Take a shot every time I say moderation and balance in today's podcast or episode. Anyway, then I moved to Amsterdam, which I talked about a little bit as well. And I just discovered that, okay, you can live a way more relaxed life and nothing bad will happen. In fact, you will have more fun and you will meet new people and you will have a way more vibrant and fun life. So if you feel like you have been restricting yourself in a way lately, maybe it's time to loosen up on some of those restrictions. And, I'm a coach at Rowcycle. I sport a lot. I challenge myself a lot in many ways. I want to work hard. I want to have a career. I want to stay informed and educated. I'm speaking up for human rights. I, speak up for women's rights. And I do have a lot of, seriousness in my life as well. But I think you also need to have fun. So have fun with it. And Thursday night, the night is young. Go out for a drink after you finish listening to my episode. There's also kind of this discussion about Gen Z, and I know I talk about a lot about Gen Z, and not everyone is the same, but a lot of Gen Z people, they are not really going out anymore. They are less social than ever. They are not really drinking. And again, when I say drinking, I'm not saying that you have to drink alcohol. I'm not saying that if you're sober or you're choosing not to drink, that's bad per se. But just this whole movement of being wellness, protecting your energy, not going out. First of all, the bars are suffering. Our third spaces are suffering. We need to put a little bit money there. And I voted also yesterday in the municipality to make sure that all the small, snack bars and bars can stay open until 3, because I think, that makes also our city. But there's this kind of new wave of Gen Zers being like, oh my gosh, my favorite hobby is to lay in bed and watch Netflix, and why are people partying, and that's not fun, and or if you go to a party, you're not even having fun, you just wish you would be on your phone, and no, that's not the truth. You have to go to a party and, put your phone away and have some fun and go on the dance floor. And I think it's kind of alarming, which is kind of the reason why I started the Conversation Club. If you didn't know, the Conversation Club is also a bi-weekly gathering where we gather around a specific topic or a book or TV show or something that I find exciting. But just, get out of the house. And I know it is also in this economy not self-explanatory that you just have money for everything, but every now and then, do something, host a gathering, host something, get out there and have fun and mingle with people, because I think if we're losing that human touch, that human connection, we are becoming robots. And we already see that happening, we are outsourcing our thinking, and we are, just meeting people on dating apps or DMing each other or whatever, and that's kind of a dystopian future. So what was my point here? My point was, again, have fun, go out and live your life. Take inspiration, not from that Pilates girl on Instagram, take inspiration from that 85-year-old nonna living her best life in Sardinia. That's at least what I'm gonna do. Now, before we go into the next topic, I have a lot of tracks for you today as well, but I have been yapping so hard, so I haven't really had a chance to go into all of those. But I thought we're gonna do a little kind of last bit of Eurosummer Mediterranean blue zone vibe. Imagine yourself sitting there with an Aperol Spritz, with a kid, with a with a 45-year-old, with an 80-year-old, all intergenerational. You've had a long, wonderful day on the beach. You're sitting down. You're having your first crispy, juicy, delicious Aperol Spritz or martini, and a little pot of olives and a little bit of smoked almonds. I can taste it in my mouth already. And this is kind of the vibe that I'm envisioning that will be during that moment.
In discoteca con lo sguardo da serpente, io mi sono avvicinato, lei già non capiva niente. L'ho guardata, m'ha guardato e mi sono scatenato. Fred Astaire al mio confronto era statico e imbranato. Le ho sparato un bacio in bocca, uno di quelli che schiocca. Sulla pista diavolata, lì per lì l'ho strapazzata, l'ho lanciata, riafferrata, senza fiato l'ho lasciata, tra le braccia m'è cascata, era cotta innamorata, per i fianchi l'ho bloccata e ne ho fatto marmellata. Oh yeah, si dice così, no? E poi, che idea?
Quale idea? Non vedi che lei non ci sta?
Che idea?
Quale idea? È maliziosa ma saprà tenere a bada un super bullo buffo come te. E poi che avresti di speciale che in un altro no non c'è?
Che idea?
Quale idea? Non vedi che lei non ci sta?
Che idea?
Quale idea? Attento, lei lunga la sa, lei ti farà girare in tondo senza avere mai le cose che pretendi. E scusa, in fondo scusa, tu che dai?
M'è venuta una pensata, nella tana l'ho portata, le ho versato un'aranciata, lei s'è fatta una risata. Al mio whisky si è aggrappata e 5 litri si è scolata. Mi sembrava belle andata, m'ha baciato, l'ho baciata, ad un tratto l'ho agganciata, dalle braccia m'è sgusciata. M'ha guardato, l'ho bloccata, carezzata sul visino sudifata, ma sembrava una patata, l'ho acchiappata, l'ho frullata e ne ho fatto una frittata. Oh yeah, si dice così, no? E poi, che idea?
Quale idea? Non vedi che lei non ci sta?
Che idea?
Quale idea? È maliziosa ma saprà tenere a bada un super bullo buffo come te. E poi che avresti di speciale che in un altro no non c'è?
Che idea?
Quale idea? Non vedi che lei non ci sta?
Che idea?
Quale idea? Attento, lei lunga la sa, lei ti farà girare in tondo senza avere mai le cose che pretendi. In fondo scusa, in cambio tu che dai?
Che idea?
Quale idea?
Balla. 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 Che idea? Che idea? Che idea?
Quale idea?
Balla. Hey. Oh, balla.
Quale idea?
Che idea?
that was Pino Daggio with Ma quale idea. I think that is Italian. I'm not an Italian speaker, so hopefully I pronounced that one correct. We will touch upon one more thing related to the blue zones before we are heading over to our final topic of the day. But one big thing that they said was, you know, the reason for people living so long was community and that feeling of togetherness, which I believe a lot of people in big cities can not relate to because it can be very isolating. And as a society, we definitely, you know, have changed since COVID. I mean, before COVID, we were more likely to be together. We were in the office all the time. And now a lot of offices have implemented this flexing, working hours, and we are just more used to being isolated. Pair that with the development of big tech, and you have it. You can literally spend, quote unquote, your perfect weekend in home, in bed, entertained, because you can call people, you can Instagram, you can TikTok, you can DM, you can swipe on Tinder or, I don't know, Raya, whatever dating app you're using, and you can feel like you had a social weekend even though you actually did not have a social weekend. So community is a big thing, and I will say, it's kind of a buzzword now. A lot of brands, a lot of people start communities, or they say, oh, we are really focused on community, blah, 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 blah. But a community is actually not really something that, you know, it's not something, I mean, it is essentially a transaction. Like, to be a villager, how do you say? To have a village, you must be a villager. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about, because you need to get a little bit uncomfortable. You need to pull up for your friends. And I think we, myself included, have maybe forgotten how you actually need to put in the effort for your friends, for your family, for people. Perhaps you have friends in the big city that has a kid or have a kid, and have you ever even asked them if you can babysit? Or, you know, I think we are used to live that optimized perfect lives for ourselves, and we are very individualistic, and we're glued to our phones, and we are living our lives, and then we are thinking about, oh, we want to have this community. Well, I don't think you need to sign up for another, you know, run club to find a community. I mean, again, definitely you can do that if you want to, but I think what you actually need to do is start to nurture those relationships closer to you. And maybe also, you know, not just your peers or the people in your own age, but also take care of your friends' kids. Or maybe, I don't have any elderly people in the Netherlands that I'm related to. But even I was thinking about, maybe it would be fun to, you know, hang out with some elderly people. Maybe there's a charity that you can do. Maybe you can hang out with, you know, if there's an older man that always comes to your cafe that you're working on, make sure to speak with that person, or, you know, speak to the people on the train or around you, and show up for people, because I don't think that we do that enough. I think we think we are very connected, but actually we are not very connected. So I think that's a big one. Community, your friends, and from your community you will also naturally expand your network, which can lead to more and more opportunities. So you never know, be kind to everyone, and you never know what's going to come out of your social interactions, and it costs nothing to be kind. And speaking of it costs nothing, I saw this fun meme on Instagram that said, okay, I don't understand how people are literally not giving out more likes. If you see a post that you like, give out a like, it's literally free. I'm like, that's right. You know, be a little bit more generous in general. I think we can afford to be a bit more generous. I read another Substack that talked about, you know, kind of the new etiquette and how we a little bit lost etiquette again. And I think we all can have a little reminder. I wish I would have it here in front of me now, but I'm going to try to remember what she was writing about. But a couple of basic things which literally I also need a reminder of, such as take out your earpods when someone is speaking to you. And when somebody is telling you a story, ask follow-up questions. And, you know, give up the seat to an elderly person. Offer your help. I know, again, we are in a tight economy, everyone, but tip the waiter, tip the Uber driver, tip your Uber Eats driver. Put your phone away during dinner. Just have some basic manners. And I think we can all have a little rain check on that one. If you are, now what I said, if you're going to your friend's house for for a dinner or for an event or something, don't show up empty-handed. Like, bring flowers, bring a bottle of wine, just some basic etiquette, because you want to have a community, then show up as a person that deserves that, you know? You want to build that village, be a villager. And again, our lives are too frictionless. Our lives are too easy. I mean, on a big scale, no. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on in the world politically, of course, awful. But as an individual, things are pretty easy. So I think we can all afford to, you know, get a bit more uncomfortable, show up for people, get a little bit inconvenienced, and you don't need to protect your energy. You need to, you know, show up for your friend with a kid who needs a night out with her husband. That's my 5 cents on that one. We have one more topic to go through today, which is what to do when you are feeling stuck. And I'm going to play one track before we go into that one, and I'm trying to decide which one are we going to go for. You know what, we're going to go right on theme. This one is called Snap Out of It by Arctic Monkeys, because sometimes you indeed just need to snap out of it.
What's been happening in your world? What have you been up to? I heard that you fell in love. I'm near enough. I gotta tell you the truth, yeah. I wanna grab both shoulders and shake, baby, snap out of it. I get the feeling I left it too late, but baby, snap out of it. If that watch don't continue to swing, I'll a fat lady fancies having a thing. I'll be here waiting ever so patiently for you to snap out of it. Everyone is forever for you. It sounds like settling down, giving up, but it don't sound much like you, girl. I wanna grab both your shoulders and shake, baby, snap out of it. I get the feeling I left it too late, but baby, snap out of it. If that watch don't continue to swing, I'm a fat lady fancies having a thing. I'll be here waiting ever so patiently for you to snap out of it. Spell your hypnotized. How could you be so blind? Under a spell, you're hypnotized. Darling, how could you be so blind? I wanna grab both your shoulders and shake, baby, snap out of it. I get the feeling I left it too late, but baby, snap out of it. If that watch don't continue to swing, I'm a fat lady fancies having a thing. I'll be here waiting ever so patiently for you to snap out of it.
That was Snap Out of It by Arctic Monkeys, and honestly, I was there during the Indesleaze era, and it was good. It was good. Fun fact, I was actually even in a folk rock band inspired by Mumford and Sons. I was playing the cello and I was singing backup vocals, and we had a blast. It was called Antonio's Block. So shout out to my old team members. I don't think anybody's listening, but shout out to the guys in the band. It was a time in. It was a place and a time, you know. If you're, by the way, looking for a little bit inspiration, we're going to talk a little bit about what to do when you're feeling stuck. And one idea I have for, when you're feeling stuck is to switch up your music. Maybe go back to an era in your life where you were super happy, maybe an era that you're not that familiar with. Another idea would be to listen to a certain artist's full catalog. For example, now diving into Madonna's catalog, and she has obviously a huge catalog of music over 40 years. So there's certainly unknown bangers. There's things that you don't like, there's things that you like, but just, shake it up a little bit. And if you are not super familiar with the 2000/2010s indie rock, go and have a look. They honestly have some great bands there. Arctic Monkeys, The Cooks, Phoenix, on the top of my head. Anyway, we are going to be talking a bit about how to get unstuck next, because a lot of the essays I've been reading lately essentially have been discussing the feeling of not exactly being where you want to be. Maybe you're feeling like you have more to give, but you're not there yet. Maybe you're feeling a little bit lost in your work life. Maybe you're feeling a bit lost in life. And that is kind of a theme what I and also my friend Phoebe, who wrote an awesome Substack on it. Shout out Phoebe Dodds. Shout out to her Substack. You can find it under the name Social Currency. A lot of our friends are feeling a little bit stuck and not exactly in a flow state at the moment. And that could be because of course, again, the world is looking a little bit crazy right now. The economy is looking a little crazy right now. AI is kind of changing the work industry. People are less and less active and engaged, with their own brains. We are getting more lazy and we are getting more isolated. So, that buzz that was going on in, 2015 to 2020 before, or let's say 2013 to 2019. I don't know if I told this story already in the show, but I'm gonna tell you a story anyway. That life before COVID, there was a female content creator. She was talking about how the life in New York used to be the shit. Like 2015 to 2019, you would pull up with your backpack, 7 a.m. workout class, you go to the office, which is a fun, WeWork office with ping pong tables and like coffee guys, and every Friday there's a Freimibo and you have a boat and you have company parties and there's an endless amount of budget, and after that you go for drinks and you go for a date and you go to the club and you sleep 3 hours, you get back up and you do it all over again. Now we were living so much, nobody was protecting their mental health and peace. I don't know, we became very fragile, if you ask me. Again, I understand the world is worse right now, but I think we indeed need to snap out of it every now and then. But yeah, not to say that it's not, not to say that it can't be tough if you're feeling stuck at this very moment. And I was actually in that moment myself, end of last year, when a project ended for me. And I felt like a lot of people around me were doing the thing that they were very passionate about. I'm a freelancer, I have my own company, I'm an entrepreneur, and I was really envying a lot of people that were fulfilling their dreams, or they were really passionate about what they were doing. I also started working with a business coach, and I remember I was in Australia and I was feeling so frustrated, being like, why can't I know what I want to do? Where's my North Star? What the hell? And I was so frustrated. And it was actually, then I was spending a lot of time offline. I was moving my body, I was surfing, I was being in the sea. I get that. That sounds very privileged, and that was definitely very lovely. It was a holiday, a first holiday for me in a long time. And I actually, spent some time reading a lot of books and giving myself a little moment to breathe. Because, again, if you optimize your day and you fill your day with so much stuff, actually, your life is full, but it's not fulfilling. So I kind of stripped back on my to-do list and spent some time in nature. What a cliche, I know. But anyway, I was doing my nails, and that's when the moment hit me. And literally out of the blue, I swear to God, the Conversation Club, that name came to me when I was doing my nails in Australia. And that kind of became my North Star. And the Conversation Club is for me the response to people just not living their best lives anymore. And for me, that means, claiming back your brain, claiming back your fun life, claiming back your community, showing up for people, speaking up about things, talking, chatting, thinking, reading, living. That is kind of what the Conversation Club is all about for me. And yeah, the name is kind of the umbrella under which now my show is, my events are, and it kind of just inspired me to, you know, stay a little bit more sharp and make sure that especially the younger generations are staying educated, are staying social, and are having a good life essentially. So my friend Phoebe, in her Substack, she is talking about how you can create your own opportunities, how you can get unstuck in life. And there is this one quote I wanted to read out for you. I'm going to pull it up here. Just a second. I could probably have played a tune here, but hey, I'm a multitasker. And the quote goes, "The best thing you can do for yourself is actively increase your surface area for luck to hit you. Go outside, travel more, go to new cafes, museums, events, take a new route home, go for hikes, see cities, countrysides, take your notebook, speak to people, ask questions, start businesses, go on more side quests. You can literally just do things, and the more you do, the more serendipity and synchronicity will find you." You remember I told you about my side quest. It's fucking random, but I'm on the hunt for the best martini in Amsterdam. It's very random. It doesn't have a purpose, but it's kind of fun. It's nice as well because I'm a fan of martinis and olives, and I have a lot of friends and like people because I posted about it on my Instagram. They're like, "That's so fun. Please let me know where is the best martini." That's just a fucking fun. Wow, I'm not maybe allowed to swear in this in this room, but sorry about that. Bleep that out. But yeah, you can just do a little beer tasting or find out the best bread in Amsterdam, or make a pact with yourself that you're gonna try a new sport every Wednesday. But anyway, so what you need to do to get unstuck is first of all, obviously, move, and move in the sense of get out of your routine and your ruts. What I mentioned, if your day is very over optimized and you feel very, like every day looks the same, that's how I was feeling as well before, because I was very busy with work. And again, there are times for work, there are times to push, there are times for leisure. But again, coming back to that, finding your balance and finding the moderation, I think every day should have a little element of surprise in it. So that might mean that you take a new route home. And I feel so lucky to live in Amsterdam again. I love Amsterdam. I feel like every day I go out, I see new cute things. I'm a big fan of the architecture in Amsterdam, and I think it's such a beautiful city. And I'm always baffled by how I can discover new nooks and corners and tiles and streets every single day. Like, how amazing is that? And I'm sure you can do the same, especially if you live in Amsterdam. So choose a different route, choose a different coffee shop, go on a little side quest. Every day should have a little element of surprise to it, otherwise you're going to forget it. That's also when, the meet cutes happen. I know we're very obsessed with the 90s. My favorite show is Sex and the City. I'm born in 94, so I can still claim to be a 90s bitch, as Iconopop would say. But, the new TV show Love Story about John F.K. Jr. and Caroline Bassett, I think everyone is, again, really drawn to that 90s vibe because it is so effortless and it's so intimate and simple. It was a simpler time. But you know what? The times are still there. You can still live that simple time. You can just decide to do it. The world is still out there. You can still go out and explore. You don't have to bring your phone everywhere. What if you would go out on a walk and not bring your phone with you? I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but try it out. See how that feels like. There are still places and spaces where you don't have to be on your phone. Maybe do a digital detox. Who knows what's going to happen there. Anyway, I'm going to go back to Phoebe's Substack because she had a couple of good suggestions here. She said, number one, if you're feeling stuck, make something. And making something is a great way to get the positive energy flowing again. And making something can be, make literally something with your hands. I think it's very therapeutic. Maybe knit something or do ceramics or do jewelry or take a silver clay workshop or just do dishes or cook something, bake a bread. Back to the basics, back to the roots. Remember when you were younger, you were so excited and obsessed about a specific thing, and you could just do it without worries for a full afternoon. Maybe do a puzzle, maybe like a Sudoku or something, but make something. Could also mean that you start a little business, start a little hobby. Like the radio show that I'm now hosting, it kind of just came to me as an idea, and I just put it out there, and I forgot about it, and it came back, and now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. And through this, I'm meeting new people. Through this, I'm challenging myself. I'm, opening myself up for new opportunities as well. I'm simply increasing my surface for luck to happen. That's also how Phoebe started her Substack, The Social Currency. Number 2, she says host a gathering, and that's something that ties very well into A, the perfect weekend, and B, how to live a good life. Host a gathering, it's such a wonderful way, and also ties into that, be a villager, and if you want to have a community, you can start it yourself. Hosts, everyone loves to be invited. Everyone loves a good party. Everyone loves a good dinner. So you don't also have to make it super difficult. And I think we see a lot of these fabulous events on Instagram, but it doesn't have to be that crazy. It can literally be a brunch. It can literally be a picnic. It can be literally a game night or something I suggested earlier in this show this season was that you could host like a presentation evening where everyone has to present something for 15 minutes and just host a little gathering like that. And you can also have a party where everyone brings a +1 that the others don't know yet. I think a really legendary and funny example of that is Charlotte is throwing a party in Sex and the City where you have to bring an ex that it didn't work out with. So kind of a single mingle situation, but you have to bring an ex that it didn't work out with. Anyway, that didn't end up super well, but that was besides the point. Host something and bring your friends together. We're gonna take a tiny little break and we're gonna play a track by Kylie Minogue. It's called Can't Get You Out of Your Head. Sorry, Can't Get You Out of My Head.
Boy, your love and it's
Kylie Minogue, Can't Get You Out of My Head. What a banger. We are coming towards the end of the show, but we're going to go on for just a little bit longer because I wanted to talk about novelty and how by adding novelty into your life, as we already touched upon, you can literally increase your surface for luck, you can have a more fulfilling life, and you can just find your personality back again, essentially. And I think a lot of us think that, burnout comes from doing too much, but I can also testify that it also comes from doing the same thing all over again. So if you're not ever exposed with novelty, you're not getting excited, you're not getting curious, you're just doing the same thing all over again, that can also be a cause for burnout. And I think a lot of us that feel lost and stuck might feel a little bit like we lost our personalities. And I think that can happen more and more now because we are so glued to our screens, we are constantly comparing ourselves to others, and we spend a lot of time watching other people live their life instead of living our own life. Another example here is, again, the TV show Love Story, where Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, she was an icon, style icon. She was the ultimate cool it girl in New York at the time. And now everyone is like copying her style and being obsessed with her style. But it's not her style, it was her essence, it was her character that was the biggest it factor of them all. So I don't think you need to go out and buy a new trench coat or a new pair of sunglasses. I think you just need to go out and, be a little bit more charismatic, do a little bit something more fascinating with your life. So on that note, finding back your personality after you feel a little bit lost, get moving, find some novelty, dive into a craft that you feel fills your soul. Like, what did you like to do when you were a kid? Maybe you can try that again. Maybe you can do some beadwork or, mix and match hobbies. But yeah, just dive into something that fills your soul. And I think that's why a lot of people say, what did you like to do as a child? Do that again, because then you did it without any second thought. You didn't do it because you had to. You didn't do it because it would lead you to a good career. You just did it because you liked it, you felt like it. So yeah, invite a little bit more playfulness and spontaneity and novelty into your day. We also, so side quest, that was also kind of related to that. Go on a side quest as well and have an element of surprise in your everyday life. I'm going to pull up the article by Phoebe because she has one more point here, which is expand your network. And expanding your network is definitely a way to increase your luck for, your service for luck. And it's also a way for you to get unstuck. So you have to go out and meet people. You won't get unstuck by staying alone in your house glued to a screen. That much I can say. So you have to go out and meet new people and network. And there was actually an interesting study that showed that it was not your close friends that brought you the most new opportunities. It was the loose acquaintances. And I'll give you a little example of that. So I'm hosting a little book club with a lovely girl in a couple of weeks, and because I reached out to her and suggested that we would do this because she is normally hosting a book club, I'm hosting a conversation club, I thought let's put our cute little heads and hearts together and host something together. And via that, actually, there came another opportunity for me to do some, public speaking at a really cool panel discussion for women. So you never know where the opportunities are coming from. And that again gives me a little inspiration and motivation to keep pushing forward. Same as, being published in the Dutch L, obviously. It just started because I decided to start the conversation club, and a journalist decided to join my conversation clubs, and we started chatting, and she just did an interview with me for the magazine. So you truly never know where those come from. And actually, the journalist is someone I met because I hosted a dinner in Amsterdam one time for women in business. So kind of recapping what Phoebe suggests and what I definitely sign. You need to get moving, you need to do something, you need to host a gathering, and you need to network, and you need to meet new people. And that kind of ties into very nicely everything we've been talking about today. So we learned about the perfect weekend. how to do that, and I gave you a blueprint if you want to copy paste that, or if you want to change some elements. But you know, we don't have that many weekends and we work hard enough, so make sure you have fun. Number 2, about, you know, fuck the matcha, have a cigarette. Jokes aside, make sure that the way you know, curate wellness into your life is actually sustainable and actually, you know, what is healthy. There can be a lot of debates on it, but what is certainly not healthy is restricting yourself too much or optimizing too hard or being too hard on yourself. That is certainly not the way to go. And I'm referring here back to, you know, the blue zones, which research shows the people living in the blue zones are living the longest, and those people are living in community, they are eating healthy but not too strict, they are resting but they are having fun, they are also indulging in the good things that life has to offer. And finally, we talked about, you know, how to get unstuck, and unstuck, kind of the opposite to getting the opposite to being stuck is to move, to be in flow. So literally just physically move, find a new route home, go to new places, meet new people, host gatherings, also put in the effort. But I think a lot of this also comes down to community and people, network, hosting, get together with others, because that way you will really feel inspired. You know how you feel and how I was feeling after my perfect weekend. After spending time with friends, I felt so fulfilled and so happy. And I think we are losing that component a little bit, you know, the human component, as we are more and more online, we are more and more isolated, we are more and more, you know, using tech. So instead of asking ChatGPT, maybe ask your friend. And instead of, you know, protecting your peace this weekend, maybe you need to actually go out and do something nice for your friends and your family. So I think on that note, we are going to start to wrap up today's episode. Do I have anything else that I want to say to you? I think I'm feeling pretty happy about my Yap session today. I stand by everything I said. I'm feeling very grateful to have a voice in radio, to have a voice to go vote in Amsterdam. I think no matter where you are at in your life, you have to also start from a place of gratitude. There are so many people that have it worse than us, so let's just that be said. And yeah, please go out and enjoy your Thursday night. Go out and enjoy your weekend, and we're going to finish up with one of my favorite tracks of all times. And this both represents the perfect weekend, it represents the vibe in the blue zones, it represents that the summer is coming closer, and it definitely represents opposite of feeling stuck. The track is called Bailando by Paradiso. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Efectos especiales, yeah, yeah, yeah. Sí, señor.
La luna estaba llena, soñé de un palacio, un paraíso que se llama Paradiso. Tú y yo a la fiesta, tú y yo toda la noche. Tú y yo a la fiesta, tú y yo bailando, bailando, amigos, adiós, adiós, el silencio loco. 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 Baile sensual, noche romántica, melodía.